ladies as well as gentlemen, Papa Boris here with some more Hearthstone Arena action. We're in the middle of a warrior run here. We lost a pretty frustrating game against a mage, and then we played against a priest who made one small misstep, and it was in the early game that snowballed into a series of little advantages that enabled me to pull out the victory with the help of my weapon and our old buddy, Captain Greenskin. So Captain Greenskin, don't underestimate that legendary. I'm not saying that like that pick was crucial, like if I had taken Hogger I would have lost or anything. I probably would have won even if I had taken the Hogger there, but still it ended up working out well for me. Okay, Carmadil the priest. The previous priest was named Icy. I think here I'm just going to keep this. My intention is to waste the battle cry and the Sun Free Protector, just play her as a 2-3, and then the Cruel Taskmaster is someone that I will play later on. Whirlwind, well, it could be good if he plays the 2-1 and 1-1 Murloc that my opponent, the priest, played earlier. It'll clear those out. As it is, Whirlwind could also be good if I draw into a Rampage. And I would definitely rather waste the battle cry of this than waste the battle cry of the Taskmaster.
Drink with me, friend.
Alright, he's got a Panda. So I have some options here. Okay, he's got a Power Word Shield to go with the Panda, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Yes, he does. Okay. Well, what I could do here is two things. Number one, I could Whirlwind, Cruel Taskmaster on this, and then trade that in. But what's the point of spending my Whirlwind when I can achieve pretty much the same effect just by Cruel Taskmastering on that? One issue that I had for a while is I would always kind of forget that I could Cruel Taskmaster my own creatures and just use it as a buff. I got so hung up on thinking of it as like a way of killing your opponent's creatures that you gotta remember, sometimes it's, it's like a Dark Iron Dwarf. If your creature's gonna die anyway, then it's just as good as a 2-mana Dark Iron Dwarf, basically. Alright, Leopard Gnome's pretty good here. Obviously trades against my better creature, and that is pretty good as well. Well, I think what I have to do... This is something I've noticed about my plays. I would sometimes, just leave my opponent's creatures on the board a little bit too much. So, like, I could, for example, just play the Iron for a Grizzly and swing by with the Cruel Taskmaster. And technically, the Iron for a Grizzly holds up against both of his creatures. But then, like, if he has Shadow Word Pain, bad stuff starts happening. He runs in with the Northstrike Cleric, heals it, draws a card, kills or clears my Cruel Taskmaster with the Leopard Gnome, my creature's dead, his creature's alive, he's drawn a card. Why do that when there's a perfectly reasonable set of moves that will cause his stuff to die? Namely, I can Whirlwind. This kills the Leopard Gnome. I can then kill off his very valuable Northstrike Cleric. Still have enough mana left to play the Iron for a Grizzly. So I used up the Whirlwind. That means I don't have it to combo with a Rampage or later, but I've got, the creature on the board. Now, he has a card ahead, but it's just the card he had for going second. I don't remember if he's used the coin. Did he use the coin or not? I can't tell. Sorry, I can't remember if he used the coin or not. But anyway, we, get to build some advantage here. I could play the Arcanite Reaper, but while I have said that you want to, play weapons when you have the chance, I think, playing it at the expense of a really nice board presence when your opponent has no creatures on the board would be a bit silly. Okay, the Twisted Abomination is a nuisance. Luckily, I have the Arcanite Reaper. Don't play the Novice Engineer here. As tempting as it is to draw a card, I think clearing this out without losing either of my creatures is even better. So now my Grizzly is vulnerable to a Holy Nova, but my Fen Creeper is not. They'll both die to a Shadow Word Pain, but that's just single target removal, which wouldn't really get my opponent ahead. So I think I'm in pretty good shape. Oh, he's got the Ooze. Well, I don't know if that was his own or if he thought stole it from me, but that's a bit sad regardless. And he's got 4 mana left to work with. Let's see what he can produce. Chillwind Yeti is actually a very good production. Man, Arcanite Reaper would have been amazing here against the Chillwind Yeti. This is unfortunate. Well, what I'm going to do is definitely draw a card. I could play the Ravenhold Assassin and try to go for the finish. Hang on a minute. That's actually worth considering. It's a very risky move because then he can trade very profitably against my creatures. I can swing for 6 down to 13. This is 7 damage. These creatures are going to die. He can heal up to 15. Yeah, I think it's too slow. I think I need to draw a card and see what I can get. My other Arcanite Reaper would be pretty great. Oh jeez! Oh my god, that was really great. Oh boy. Alright, here I'm going to make a very conservative move. I'm actually going to trade my Bear in for the Ooze. Now you might think, well, Boris, why not use your Fen Creeper? Because then everything dies to Holy Nova. This way, I have a hardier creature rather than 2 damaged ones, and I'm not vulnerable to the Priest's main out here. Now, obviously, Shadow Word Pain would put him in pretty good standing because he could just kill this thing. Holy Fire would also be good because he could use the healing for sure. But, I'm definitely in the game, even if he has that stuff. Interesting. So he didn't actually have either of the outs. So again, we need to take a look at the situation here from a burn perspective. So I could swing for 4 plus 5 is, well, it's 9 damage. Take him down to 7. Then the Ravenhold Assassin is stealthy and threatening the kill, but he is a priest, so he could heal back up to 11 damage, and then my stuff is almost certainly going to be dead. So rather than do that, I'm going to take a bit of more of a conservative tack. I'm going to spend 5 damage to kill off the or the Panda. Still going to swing for 4 damage here. And I can either play out more stuff, or I can play out one heavy hitter. I'm going to assume the Fen Creeper will die, and he'll heal himself. He'll be at 14, 7 plus 1 is 8, down to 6. Yeah, that's not really good enough. But if I play this, this, and this, then Holy Nova is really great. Because look, he runs in with the Gurabashi, gets us down to 2 health. And then, after that, the Grunt and the Ooze and the Fen Creeper will all 3 die to a Holy Nova. So it's not really super great. I want to play this and the Ravenhold Assassin, but I can't do that, sadly. The Grunt is actually terrible because the Berserker can just kill it and enrage. Okay, we're going to do this. So I haven't quite gotten my opponent's health. I haven't quite gotten my opponent's health down to the point where this will actually win the game for me. But if I get lucky and top deck a Gorehowl, let's say, then I will win on the spot, which would be pretty nice. It's going to silence the taunt. Well, it's actually encouraging. It means he's not planning to kill it. If he were going to kill it, he would have used like a Dark Iron Dwarf or like a Holy Nova or something. Instead, he's going to kill off my Novice Engineer, enrage the Gurabashi. But I mean, he's getting hit pretty hard here. If this Fen Creeper lives, he's getting hit down to 3 hit points. Captain Greenskin. Ah, damn. I don't have a weapon here. So I guess the question is, can I afford to not trade? I mean, I can just trade off here. I can make everything die. Then it's 4 cards to 4 cards. Problem is, my 4 cards are a bit crappy. So I could really threaten the kill here. If he's allowed to trade, he could potentially trade more profitably. Down to 11 health. Man, I really need a weapon. Gorehowl would have done it. I think I've actually played both Arcanite Reapers. One got oozed, right? Did it? Was that this game? I think so. If I play this stuff all dies to Holy Nova. I'm gonna go for it. I think I'm gonna get farther behind here. So I'm gonna just go for the kill here. We'll play the Golem, which is nice. We'll play the Taunt to be a nuisance. And I'm gonna armor up. I'm gonna hold off on the... Well, actually, hold on. The Ooze dies to Holy Nova, but nothing else does. So yeah, we're just gonna play the Ooze. I suspect he does have a Holy Nova here, but it's just 1 card that would be killing only really 2 of my creatures. 3, I guess, if he kills off the Harvest Golem. But to kill off the Harvest Golem, he'd have to get through this first, and if he's getting through this, then it's not dying to Holy Nova. So I think it's fine. So I'm just threatening the kill here and seeing if he has any outs in his 5 cards. As a massive spell, that's actually, you know what, I keep complaining about how much that card sucks, but it was actually really amazing right there, because now he can do the trade and then let this die to a Holy Nova. And this of course not coming back is also a real bother. Well, the good news is that if he Holy Novas, this thing survives, but the bad news is that after he Holy Novas, he has massive card advantage against me. He'll have 4 Oh, no Holy Nova! Was I wrong? Does he have something better than Holy Nova? No! Oh my gosh, I was just wrong. I guessed wrong. He didn't have Holy Nova. Okay. Well, I get a little bit lucky there. There was probably a Holy Nova in his deck, but he didn't have it, so we get the win. And I don't begrudge that to myself at all. I've caught enough bad breaks in some recent arenas that I will accept that a good break is something that I am just due. All right, so that was, I think, our 2nd win. Some pretty drawn out games with lots of commentary, but I hope folks have enjoyed that. Yeah, so my stats have been slipping. I've actually got like 61 successes and 59 failures now because of a bad streak recently, and as you can see in my gold, well, it just disappeared, but I'm down below 2,000 for the first time in a long time. So anyway, I'm trying to take a more lax approach to winning and losing. We'll just play, we'll do commentary, we'll have some fun, and that'll be that. Alright, so this is a very good starting hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wish I were the first player with this, but it's fine still to be the second. It just means I'm not going to be using my coin. I am going to play the South Sea deckhand. If this were like a, let's say, well, no, if he plays a Voidwalker, I wouldn't play the deckhand. Okay. If this had been like, say, like a Abusive Sergeant with the +2 attack battle cry, then I might hold on to it. As it is, I'm just going to consciously risk Mortal Coil being really amazing for my opponent, just to get this out there. Okay, so he has a bit of a slow start for a Warlock. We'll play Knife Juggler here. It's not like I'm up against a warrior who could cleave this, or a shaman who could fork lightning, or a hunter who can explosive trap. Warlocks aren't like super great at dealing with these two things. Obviously Hellfire will do it. That's actually a very good card as well. And notice, you know, how good it is that I have this bear. I mean, sure, you could Shadow Bolt the bear and whatever, but that was the worst outcome. If it killed this, that's good. If it hit this, I could trade my 2-1 in for it. Well, we'll just see if the bear will do. Obviously, if my opponent has a Shadow Bolt, then he can do some good stuff. He can, you know, Shadow Bolt the bear and then just clear out my board, getting some card advantage. And in fact, he has it. So my opponent gets some card advantage here because this all came from one card. So he's using one card to kill two cards, and then he had 1-for-1 the Shadow Bolts on that. Yeah, that was actually really unfortunate. Now the good news is I actually have Arcanite Reaper and Captain Greenskin right behind it. So we'll just play a Harvest Golem here casually. I mean, that was actually bad luck. I had only a 1 in 3 chance that the knife would hit him. If it had hit any one of his other creatures, the thing that he followed up with wouldn't have been possible. So if I lose this game, it'll be because of the stroke of bad luck there. Argent Squire. Well, that's very cute, but I don't really mind it that much. So I could, of course, use the Dark Iron Dwarf. Unfortunately, the Harvest Golem will not reach up quite high enough to kill that Yeti. The one question that I have to ask myself here is actually, do I use the Arcanite Reaper to hit my opponent or to kill off this Yeti? So if I use it to hit the opponent, he goes down to 15 health. If I hit him again after playing Captain Greenskin, let's just total up the damage. So it's 5, and then there'll be a couple more 6s, so 12 plus 5 is 17, 19. So I'm actually a damage short, and that also assumes he doesn't play any taunts, and it also assumes he doesn't play any oozes. So I'm going to play it a little bit safer here and do this. Now, I'm actually going to pop the Divine Shield, and the reason I'm taking the time to do this is that if he has a buff for this Argent Squire in the form of a Shattered Sun Cleric or a Dark Iron Dwarf, I don't want it just to pop the Divine Shield on that buff. I want it to actually die for the very good thing of killing the Harvest Golem. Basically, what that Divine Shield prevented was 1 damage. See, notice what happens now? If this had happened and the Squire attacked me, it would have, the Divine Shield would have been a lot better. Okay, now the nice thing about the situation is that I can either use my weapon to kill the Dark Iron Dwarf, or I can actually use my own Dark Iron Dwarf to kill his Dark Iron Dwarf. And then we'll also be able to play a Novice Engineer to draw a card. I'm actually going to do that. It's a bit more conservative, I would say, but I can afford to be conservative here because I'm getting such good value. Now I could use Mortal Strike to kill this, which is also an option. Let's think about that. I think I'll actually use the Dark Iron Dwarf. Basically what I'm doing is I'm upgrading my Golem into a 4/4 for the low price of 1 card. I am keeping this around as a potential burn option, and I'm also, you know, keeping my weapon. Obviously I want to keep the weapon for Captain Greenskin here. So if we do a quick count, after Captain Greenskin's buff, this will be a 6/2. That's 12 damage. Plus 4 is 16, 17 damage, and I have this, so I actually now have the burn potential to win, as long as he doesn't play taunts. Now, of course, if he does play a taunt, or an ooze, it'll sort of wreck my life. Mortal Coil is extremely good with spell damage. That was a bit sad. And a Flame Imp. Okay, Flame Imp's not super relevant right here, and it actually damages him, which is very, very good for me. Okay, so do I go for the burn gambit? Let's see. I'll hit him for 10, down to 6, and I'll be threatening the kill. I mean, yeah, I'm just going to go for it. I think that's totally fine. So we're going to do this, and we're going to go for the kill here. And what I'm also going to do, I'm thinking of coining out the Farseer. The disadvantage of the Farseers, of course, is it raises my health higher, making it less likely that Mortal Strike will be a real fireball. But the advantage is that it puts another creature on the board, which, you know, at this point, if I can get a swing in with my 3/3, then the Mortal Strike will kill him off. I'm gonna go for it. I think it's actually worth doing this. So this could have been a Hogger, which I think would have also been pretty good under the circumstances. So I guess there hasn't been a time yet where I would say that this is like winning me a game, where otherwise Hogger, you know, wouldn't have. Molten Giant? Well, is it the irrelevant last turn Molten Giant, or does he have a Defender of Argus to back it up? Soulfire? Okay. That means now he can actually clear everything out? Ooh, that's encouraging. So no Defender of Argus. Yep, this is an irrelevant last turn Molten Giant. It's a true irrelevant last turn Molten Giant. It didn't do anything, it was free, and I killed him anyway. Yay! I think Captain Greenskin was better there than Hugger would have been, because by adding on to my weapon, it essentially gave me an extra, let's see, 1 plus 6. It gave me an extra, the Captain Greenskin there gave me an extra 7 points of damage, if I'm doing my math right. Yeah, because it upgraded the 5 to a 6, and it gave me an extra attack, so 5 plus 6, or 1 plus 6 is 7. Thick Turtle, another Warlock, I believe this is a differently named one, I can't recall the other one's name. Alright, oh, Fiery, oh my god! I actually forgot I even had a Fiery War Axe. So we only got one in this draft. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's better than having none. But I haven't seen it yet in the first, like, 4 games. So it's nice to finally see it here. That's good to know that it's in there, riding around. Blood Imp. That is very unfortunate. I don't like seeing that at all. I'm going to be aggressive here because I have a 2-mana removal spell behind it. So the rule of thumb I've decided on is, if you have a 2-mana creature that you're thinking about whether or not it's worth it to coin, and you have a 2-mana removal spell behind it, then coin it out. If you have a 1-mana removal spell, then don't coin it out. I really hope to see Whirlwind at some point, but the problem is the longer the game goes, the worse Whirlwind gets. Because right now, like, Whirlwind pretty much, actually already Whirlwind pretty much does nothing other than kill the Blood Imp. If not for Whirlwind, I don't have any cleaves. I don't have any way to get rid of this thing. I don't have any mass dispels. We're going to make a bit of a risky move here. I'm going to put the Fiery War Axe into play. The reason is that basically the Fiery War Axe will backfire terribly if he plays an Ooze, but any other thing that he plays, I'd rather have this in my hand than just 2 armor. Because next turn I want to be playing creatures, you know? So I want this already in my hand when I'm playing my creatures out. I'm risking the Ooze in exchange for the massive tempo advantage that I gain by having this weapon already in hand. Well, he's thinking a lot, which suggests hopefully that he doesn't have an Ooze. The problem is that now any creature that has 3 health, which is likely to be the case at 3 mana, is going to survive my Fiery War Axe thanks to this Blood Imp, which is extremely unfortunate. Well, the Direwolf Alpha is not a 3 toughness creature, so it's my lucky day. Does he have anything for 1 mana? He does not. Well, I have to confess, I've been extremely fortunate there. We're going to just attack him. We're going to kill off this wolf with the axe. And it's a tricky call what to play here. I think the Earthring Forester can be ruled out. The Worgen, potentially, there's like some 4-mana plays that, you know, the Worgen could like run into to run Wind Fury, but not a whole lot. And the Bear is nice because it'll protect, you know, against charge, and in general, it'll protect my assets. So I'm going to play this. Basically, what I'm doing by playing this Bear is I'm saying, I think the odds are low, sir, that you wanted to play something with less than 3 power. I think the odds are very low indeed. And I regret it. Because, you know what, if I'd played the Worgen, he wouldn't have been able to make this play on a clear conscience. He would have, because the Worgen could have turned on Wind Fury against this. Well, I mean, I don't know if I made the wrong move there, but it didn't work out for me in this case. I am going to use the axe, damage on the face. Basically, a good rule of thumb, another one of, you know, Papa Boris's proverbs, is that early in the game, it's better to put damage on your face than to put damage on your creatures, so I'd rather use up the tick of the weapon and take 2 damage myself than put 2 damage on this Grizzly Bear, especially because I'm playing against a Warlock and having creatures at 1 health sort of sucks. So now I'm in a real tricky spot, because if he plays 5 toughness creatures, the Arcanet Reaper is not going to get to kill them because they'll be at 6 health thanks to the Blood Imp. However, he doesn't really seem to want to play creatures, he just wants to kill my stuff 1 at a time, which is fine, because I'm sneaking damage through. Oh, he's going to life tap. I think that was a potentially very serious error. I mean, he really should have life tapped first. He's falling farther and farther behind here. I'm gonna play the Fen Creeper. It's huge. Not the easiest creature for a Warlock to deal with. Really, it's Siphon Soul, I think, or Bust, which is a rare. Notice how, like, a Mage, there's 2 common cards that will kill this. A Warlock, I don't think Warlocks even have any common cards that will deal with that thing. One nice thing about this Blood Imp, it really hasn't done anything for him all game. He's been playing down a card, essentially, so it's kind of like compromising, or it's compensating for the life tap, because at least one of his life taps was for this, which has been totally useless for him so far. I mean, not that he's playing wrong or anything, it's just that, you know, he's been unlucky in that way. But it's been lucky for me that this Blood Imp has been totally useless for him, so he's been playing down a card, so I'm not suffering from as much from card to disadvantage as I would. So here we go. He finally catches a break and gets a 5 toughness creature, which, thanks to the Blood Imp, is quite relevantly at 6 health. And it's important that this is a taunt, too, because otherwise I could have just burned him out. I mean, I had 6 damage, plus 5 is like 11. If I could have burned him out, then this would have... his health situation would have been very grim indeed. Okay, let's take a look at the situation here. Ogre Magi, unfortunately, it doesn't really help me. It would make this deal 5 damage, which is still not enough. It's enough to kill the It Master, but I don't have enough mana. I'd have to like wait a turn on it. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go ahead and try to just bull rush my way through here. So the question is, do I use my Fen Creeper and have it live at 3 health? Or do I use my Grizzly Bear and just have it die? Well, what would it die to at 3 health? Shadow Bolts, Soulfire, and Hellfire. Hellfire is not the most tempting thing for him to play, but I don't want to expose myself to Shadow Bolt. I will take a more conservative line. I will use up my Bear, and 1 swing of the axe, and swing for 3. This thing is super healthy now. So, here, when I get up to 8 mana, this plus Mortal Strike represents 5 damage, which my opponent cannot stop. And this is another 5 damage, so that is a total of 10 damage. So if the Fen Creeper gets to swing 1 more time, I actually have the kill in 2 turns. This is actually extremely fortunate for me to see because it is not a taunt creature, and it makes it unlikely that the Fen Creeper will die. My opponent makes another bad error, playing the Novice Engineer second. I mean, imagine if he had played it first, he could have gone into a Shadow Bolt and actually finished off the Fen Creeper. Well, I'm not going to complain. We're just going to go ahead. I don't care about him drawing cards. He can draw all the cards that he wants. He is now, you know, he's actually dead. I don't even need the Ogre Magi. Whoops. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and kill him. And that's that. Alright, so Warlocks. I think this deck is probably better against Warlock than against most other classes, simply because Warlocks damage themselves, and with all these weapons, I have a little bit more burn potential with this deck than I do with, you know, other decks that I might be playing. Like as a priest, say, I probably wouldn't have like the same edge against Warlocks that I have with this deck. Alright, so up against another Mage, GT Quicksilver. I imagine that's supposed to be Quicksilver. Okay, this is quite the hand. Very scary hand to have going first, because all these cards need to be mulligan. The more bad cards you have, the more that you wish you were going second for that extra card and the extra mulligan. So hopefully I get something playable. Nope. This is actually really terrible, and that's like the worst feeling in the world, is having a bad hand against a mage. Oh, this is just awful. It's just awful. I can't play this. It's just going to die. The only way I'm ever playing this is if it's charging while I have a weapon equipped, then I get to attack right away with it. Mercifully, my opponent has no turn 1 mana worms. But, I mean, this is a very slow start. Even after I play this, it's still a slow start, because the Frost Elemental, which I actually haven't seen yet in 5 games, isn't helping me. Well, if we lose this game, we'll just say it's because it was the double whammy of being up against a mage and having a slow start. If I had top decked a Fiery War Axe, it would have been awesome. Fiery War Axe, this guy killed the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Alas, it's not to be. This represents a very nice answer to the Sorcerer's Apprentice. However, the Mage can mitigate that because the Fire Blast kills off the damaged Golem, of course. Still, though, it's a 1-for-1 trade, and I'll take that at this point. So, yeah, we'll see what she has. She hasn't used her coin, which I guess is better. I'd rather she not use it and have it later than use it early on for a fast start. Still not using the coin, which is just fine by me. Okay. Alright, Arcanite Reaper, it'll be nice in a turn. So let's see, Whirlwind, not good. Execute though. We'll kill this for a mana. I think we'll do that. I think it's better to just use it while it's good than to try to like wait for it to be good later. I'm just trying to, you know, hang steady. So at the moment, my best chance to win is this Arcanite Reaper that I drew. If she plays like a Chillwind Yeti and Ascension Shield Master, and I can kill them both off with the Arcanite Reaper, I'll have some card advantage, and I'll kill a lot of her best stuff. Frost Elemental is nice. It survives Flame Strike, and it's, you know, a decent endgame creature. Mana Wraith is pretty immaterial to me. I wasn't planning to play this, at least until the following turn, of course, because it's, I mean, with 5 mana here, I wouldn't have had mana for the Southsea deckhand anyway. Now, the main issue is that I don't really, it's a bit overkill to use the Arcanite Reaper on this. I mean, obviously a Fiery War Axe would be better, but I don't really want to cash in my Golem yet, because again, it'll just die. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and kill the Mana Wraith off, and put the first damage on my opponent. So what's she got? She's got 7 cards to my 6, soon to be 7, so she's basically kept her extra card for going second. I think she still has the coin here, which could actually be kind of scary. And my hand is still not really good. I mean, this Whirlwind's getting worse and worse the longer the game goes. Rampage would have been actually pretty awesome. Alright, Boulder Fist Ogre. Well, now, of course, I regret not having an Execute. Let's think about this. I could Dark Iron Dwarf. This would reach up to 4. Oh man, it's just not good enough. What I'm gonna do is this. So I'm gonna freeze it, keep swinging, and I'm gonna keep my weapon, because what I probably want to do at some point is use the South Sea Deckhand and the weapon to kill this thing, taking 6 damage to the face in the meantime. But what I might do, if this lives, and it's not going to live. Okay, of course it's not going to live. Of course! There was a 0% chance of that living. Is she going to ping it off with her hero ability? Okay. So she spent her whole turn killing my 5/5, which is good because she already has a 6/7 on the board. Ogre Magi. Not... Well, I could make this deal 2 damage to all minions, which... No, that's terrible. Alright. So, Dark Iron Dwarf, and this is 4... 5, 6. It's not quite enough. 2, 4, 6. Yep. This thing having 7 health is a real pain. Alright, I'm gonna use this rather than cashing in my golem, because once the golem breaks, it just dies to the hero ability of the mage. And I don't really want to throw it away until I absolutely have to. We use Dark Iron Dwarf just to put some damage on the field here. And think. So if I play this, she can play Flame Strike, the golem will survive. She will have 5 cards to my 4 plus a damaged golem. I'll be in pretty bad shape because my cards are actually not that good. So I'm not going to throw this away to a Flame Strike just yet. We're just going to armor up and pass the turn. So this is definitely a weak hand here. Probably my best chance for winning is if by some miracle this actually gets to attack. If she goes down to 14 health, then potentially with Gorehowl and Captain Greenskin I might burn her out. Okay, that's a bit scary because first of all I can't kill it with my creatures, and second of all, balls, she has removal. I really needed her to not have removal there. Interesting, so she can't kill this right now, but I do lose the buff, unfortunately. These 2 creatures will both kill off the water elemental. I really don't think I can afford to do this, though. I think I'm just gonna have to try to race. So, do I play the Knife Juggler and the Frostwolf Grunt? No, because then more stuff just dies to Flame Strike. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play this Taunter, armor up, and pass the turn. So what I'm basically saying to my opponent is, use your Flame Strike now when you only kill 3 creatures other than a butt ton, or spend your Water Elemental's attacking into my Frostwolf Grunt, or use a real removal spell on this stupid Taunter, or have a Silence. So, giving her... I'm basically telling her to, it's weird, like, it's like kind of good for me. It's about as good as against a mage, but it's still really good because she has like a billion things she could do that would be really good here. The best case scenario for me is if she attacks that. Okay, perfect. That means she has no Flame Strike, at least not that she's planning to use. And there's a chance in hell that this Dark Iron Dwarf will get to hit her one more time, which would be pretty awesome. Chance in hell. Chance in hell, 6 mana. Oh my god. Fucking mages. Well, I have armor, so I'm not going to freeze just yet to that thing. I'm extremely tempted to use the Fiery War X plus Whirlwind to kill it. What I'm going to do, though, is play my stuff and see if I win the coin flip. I lose the coin flip, of course. So, let's go ahead and think about my options. I think I do want to play this Fiery War X. The question is, do I go for the burn? I can get her down to 9 damage. It's not good enough. But Whirlwind sucks, because it deals 2 damage to everybody. Shit, I can't do it. Crap. Balls. Shit. If I hit this thing now, and it hits me, then I will freeze, so I'm just gonna hit her in the face. Yeah, I guess I could have just... I mean, I could have played it safe, but I felt like I was behind, so I had to take the coin flip. That coin flip will cause me to lose, because since I wasn't able to kill this, it lives, and that lets her kill my creatures off and all that stuff. Alright. So...
We have many secrets.
She has that thing. This is getting worse and worse. And a secret. Oh, she had the secret. Of course she did. Fucking mages. Well... Ah, boy. She's gonna kill off my spell damage, which is a reasonable decision. She's gonna pick at my Knife Juggler. Or not. That might be, of course, like something like a Vaporize, in which case I'm just... Or Ice Berry, in which case I'm just totally screwed. My chances get thinner and thinner here. Let's assume it's a spell thing, which is a very, very generous assumption. You have to assume the best when you're behind. I can get 10 damage in here. Ah, man. Well, let's check for Mirror Entity, see if that's what it is. It's not. Even if I do deal 10 damage, I mean, she's still alive. I think I'm gonna play it safe here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and kill off this creature. And I'm gonna kill off that creature. And if it's Vaporize, then it's Vaporize. Please don't be Vaporize. Oh, it's Ice Barrier. Well, so that means my out is pretty much eliminated. However, I'm not so far behind. I mean, she's got 3 cards to my 2. Granted, Whirlwind sucks, but she might also have a bad card. You don't know. Okay, War Golem is a very good card. If I top deck a Gore Howl, though, I can actually kill this thing off. She's got 16 health. Panda. Oh, I can do a little bit of a wombo combo here. So we're going to do this. We're going to Panda. So the Ice Barrier really keeping her in the game here. Yep. If she hadn't had Ice Barrier, she'd be dead. So I still maintain that Ice Barrier is a bad card, but it was good in that circumstance. Alright, so now she needs removal. Flame Strike would pretty much win her the game. But there's a chance in hell. I mean, there's a chance in hell that nothing is disruptive here. Okay, so no Flame Strike. That's good. But she can clear my board out, which is definitely bad. And this Whirlwind is awful. Oh, man, she even gets to keep her War Golem. Alright, a Gore Howl is not going to be enough. She chooses not to kill the sheep. I think that's an error. This thing still needs like 2 turns to kill me. I don't know. I think my opponent might have messed up. So, okay, we're going to go for it here. Now, here's the thing. If she has a Pyroblast, actually, it's not good enough. I'll be at 13 health. She needs like Pyroblast and Frostbolt. Notice how by not killing the sheep, I was able to do an extra damage to her. So the Ravenhold Assassin's going to kill her. Now, I'm not saying like for that reason, you know, not killing the sheep was a mistake. Yeah, she loses now. I'm not saying that she messed up just because I happen to have like the perfect card. I think that on principle, when you're at 8 health and you're in danger of being burned out, you should kill off all your opponent's creatures. Now, if I'd been lower health, if let's say attacking me meant that she killed me the following turn, then I would say, yeah, definitely attack because, you know, like if you kill the sheep and you're so low on life, your opponent's probably going to beat you anyway, so you might as well like go for the win next turn, kind of go all in and see if your opponent can top deck the perfect card. But if you're like 2 whole turns away from being able to kill the opponent with your creature, then you should definitely wipe your opponent's creature off. Now, I guess maybe she was thinking, well, the sheep can take me down to 7. What difference does it make? Like what warrior cards would kill her? I guess there really wasn't that much. So maybe it wasn't like the worst mistake ever. But I think even if I didn't know what my hand was, in her shoes I would have killed off the sheep when I was at 8 health. Anyway, that was a very lucky victory. I'm totally happy to have it. We mulligan a very late game hand for a very early game hand, which is great. So let's see what my opponent does before I commit to anything. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and coin out this Knife Juggler. The reason is I've got this Novice Engineer to play on turn 2. Of course, I risk a turn 2 Fiery War Axe for my opponent, but the thing is, the Fiery War Axe wouldn't actually put him ahead on cards because the next thing he would be Fiery War Axing is a Novice Engineer, which would draw me a card. So I think I'd be in pretty good shape. Ah, my opponent has a slow start. That is fantastic. So no Fiery War Axe in his hand at the moment. Obviously, if he had a Fiery War Axe in his hand, he would have 100% played it there. So the Novice Engineer gets to ping him for some damage. And I am vulnerable to a Cleave. However, this drew me a card, so again, Cleave is good for him board-wise, but it's not like getting him ahead card-wise. And then I got a good follow-up play. The Harvest Golem's a nice play after that, and then the Dark Iron Dwarf, you know, buffing a Harvest Golem with the Dwarf is pretty much the best thing. This looks like a Cleave. No, it's not! It's a Cruel Taskmaster and a Whirlwind or an Execute? Inner Rage, okay. So that actually works out pretty well for him because the Cruel Taskmaster can kill the Novice Engineer, and I'm a turn away from being able to play the Dark Iron Dwarf. Now I've got some options. I can either play the Whirlwind and then finish off the Cruel Taskmaster. However, then I'm foregoing one of my plays, so that seems silly. What I'll do here is I'll just play the Grizzly. Of course, there's a number of ways the warrior can get past this to let the Taskmaster kill my engineer. However, a lot of the main ways that he could get past it involve buffing the Cruel Taskmaster, but the Cruel Taskmaster, being at 2 health, would still die when it runs into the bear. Shattered Sun Cleric and Dark Iron Dwarf are still probably like the best cards my opponent could play here, but at least the Cruel Taskmaster would die. And then after that, if it's a Shattered Sun Cleric, I can use the Dark Iron Dwarf. Okay, so it looks like he is going to trade a Tick of the Weapon and the Cruel Taskmaster. It's very good that I have the Dark Iron Dwarf follow-up here, or else I'd start falling behind. Luckily, notice what happens now. This Novice Engineer drew me a card, she got buffed, she killed this creature, and this weapon, without help, isn't going to be enough to kill the Dark Iron Dwarf. Okay, well, we have a decent start, but it's anyone's game. I mean, he just needs one good card here, and he'll be right ahead, because right now I've got a lot of these 3-drops. It's not exactly what I want right now. I want some of my endgame stuff that I've been mulliganing left and right. So let's see how good his cards are. That is a pretty good card because it lives, And it lets him kill off my Dark Iron Dwarf, which is quite sad. That was a very good card. Okay, Execute is an interesting choice. So is Whirlwind. Do I kill that thing or do I save the Execute for later? I mean, Whirlwind Execute is a combo that will take care of anything, basically. Alright, I'm going to take a bit of a risk. Well, am I? I keep saying how you should always kill off your opponent's creatures. No, I'm going to take a risk here. This feels right to me. I'm threatening to kill the creature with value. I feel like I've fallen a little bit behind after he had the Weaponsmith and had this Charger. So when you're behind, take risks. I'm trying to get ahead here by killing off this 2/1 with value. And I can always, hopefully, Whirlwind or Execute it later on. Like if he plays another creature, let's say, and attacks by, like something big. Let's say he plays a Boulder Fist Ogre here. I can now Whirlwind, kill this, damage the Ogre, and then Execute. Demolisher. Okay. It's unfortunate this thing has 4 health. It means that Whirlwind plus the Golem isn't going to be enough to kill that. Oh, this is interesting now. I could play the Ogre Magi and Whirlwind. That would actually get it down to the point where the Demolisher will die to the Golem, and I'll still have a mana left over to execute the Frothing Berserker. I think we'll do that, actually. My Harvest Golem will unfortunately die, but I think that's the best thing I can do here, so we'll do this. We'll, wait. First, actually, it makes no difference, but we'll do this first. Then we'll do the Ogre Magi. Then we'll do this crazy Whirlwind. And then we have a mana left over to execute this thing. Well, what's the story here? He's got 4 cards to my 5. So I'm soon to be 6. Was I second this game? I was second, so it's just the card I have for going second. Cleave would be really good. That also is really good. Damn, he keeps having good cards. I could have, I guess, Mortal Striked his thing, but then the Demolisher would have stuck around. Acolyte of Pain. Man, he keeps having the right cards. Well, I still have weapons in here. It would be nice to draw them. Alas, it is not to be. So, I can't play both of these cards. If I let the Acolyte of Pain survive, then it will draw 2 cards off. I'm going to make sure that he can't get 2 cards off the Acolyte. I think that seems like a reasonable decision. Healing this with the Farseer would prevent it from dying to the Axe, which has some value. This would allow him to finish this off with the Axe, and then I'd have a healthy Golem and a damaged one. That seems silly. We're just going to go ahead and do this. My opponent definitely caught up with these double Wrathy Weaponsmiths. I didn't see any in my draft, but you can see how good they are. They're pretty much single-handedly keeping my opponent in the game at this point, because he was behind on cards, and each time that happens, he just gets ahead on cards. Now, I have a life advantage here, but he can clear everything out pretty easily that I have, and I don't really have anything good coming up. This is all early game stuff. I need to get my, like, Ravenholt Assassin, or Frost Elemental, or Gorehowl very soon here. Oh, he has another one? Mercifully Mortal Strike. Oh no! This goes up to 5. Oh, that's bad. That's real bad. Shoot. So, this is actually a dire situation. I have to 2-for-1 myself here. Damn, that grunt is awful. Fuck. Well, alright, I'm not going to use Mortal Strike just yet. Just going to do this. And then pass the turn. Now this thing is going to hit me pretty hard, but I just didn't want to run in like that and Mortal Strike. It seemed bad. I want to get some board presence out here. Man, he had 2 Frothing Berserkers, which are rares, so he had a very nice draw there. And he had 2 Wrathy Weaponsmiths, which are commons, but I saw none in my draft. So I think it's possible that there was a couple of moves. There was that crazy Whirlwind. I could have done some things differently there. It's possible that there were things I could have done differently in this game, but I really feel like he just had the better cards. Yeah, I passed on one of these. Now he's way too far ahead. I just don't have enough cards here. Unfortunately, even though now this deals 6 damage, it's still not good enough to kill the Frostwolf Warlord without help, which is extremely sad. I can't armor up. Yeah, alright, he's got massive card advantage. This weapon's no good. I can't burn him out. That's gonna be it. Maybe I could have attacked his face? No, I think he had enough damage. Oh, maybe. Oh man, I might have missed a chance. I might have been able to kill him if I attacked for the face. I guess though he can armor up. It would have been a slim hope. Well, here's what I'll say about this game. There is a chance that through slightly different decisions through the game, I could have won. But I believe that my opponent quite simply had better cards, and that was all there is to it. Which will happen sometimes. He had better cards, and I wasn't, you know, quite good enough with my poorer draft and with my play to eke out the win in the face of him having just better cards in his draft than I did. All right, well, we're at 5 and 2. I think these days I'm pretty happy to get up to 6. I go up to 6 in like 68% of my arenas. I go up to 7 in like 51%. So there's a huge drop off. 6 is a huge hurdle for me. All right, what I'm gonna do here is keep the execute because again, it's a nice combo with the knife juggler. There's a chance you get a lucky flip and then you can execute the minion that gets flipped. Normally execute, the reason it's so cheap is that to damage something, you know, something's got to give. You either have to damage one of your minions in the best case, or kill one of your minions in the worst case. Northshire Cleric. Well, and Inner Fire. I see. It's just putting that right out there, huh? Well, okay. So if this is just gonna die to the Northshire Cleric, never mind. I was gonna play the Ooze, but since I drew my Fiery War Axe, we'll just kill this. This is 2 cards in 1. This is massive card advantage to start things up. I don't know if Radical here is a bad player, but that was definitely, or that was like a bad play, but it was definitely a risky play. Coining out the Inner Fire means that this Fiery War Axe traded off a Northshire Cleric, the coin, and an Inner Fire. And it still has a tick left over to kill something. Now I could actually kill this just by whacking it and using Execute to stop any more Inner Fire shenanigans, or I could just play a little bit slower and just drop a Knife Juggler. I mean, I could still do it. I'm actually gonna go ahead and hang on to this because what's happening here is that next turn I can just attack this and use my weapon and kill it without using Execute. So, you know, if I don't have to use Execute, why use it? And at the moment, this is not immediately threatening, unless of course he has a second Inner Fire. Even if he does, same deal. I mean, he's probably gonna kill my Knife Juggler and I can execute it. All right, so that shows up. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's actually just kill this with the War Axe. So what I'm gonna do now is play the Ooze. See where the knife goes. Hits the face. So here it's very important to do this correctly. You hit the Lightwell, because the Lightwell will either heal itself or the opponent. If I had hit the opponent was gonna get healed up for 3 guaranteed. So now there's a chance the Lightwell will stay damaged and I can pick it off. He used his coin on the Inner Fire, so there's no Holy Nova just yet. And the question is, do I execute this thing? And the answer is no. Again, that's not really threatening right now. It heals him, which is nice. Not only does it waste 2 points of healing, but it means I can actually finish this thing off. He's a turn away from Holy Nova. I don't think he can really do anything that great to these creatures yet. Light Spawn. Okay. Well, before we do anything else, I don't want to make this Arcanite Reaper. I'm just going to play a Harvest Golem, because it survives Holy Nova. See where the knife goes. Oh, I should have actually hit this first. That was a mistake. Yep, I should have killed this thing off first. Then there was a 50-50 chance of it hitting the Light Spawn. Ah, shoot, I messed up. Well, what I could do here is I could actually Whirlwind, but then the Golem would die to a Holy Nova. Nuts. Well, let's kill this thing off. Let's armor up, and we're going to hit him. Yeah, that was a small mistake. I missed a chance I made basically what should have been a coin 50% chance, was instead of 33% chance. And then, obviously, the execute on this would have been very, very nice. Shillwind Yeti, that'll die to my Arcanite Reaper. So I'm fine with that. Oh my god. Oh no, he's gonna do it on the Light Spawn. Oh, perfect. He's actually hitting me. That, I think, is a stone cold mistake. I just don't know any other way to put it. I think that's just a total error. So now we get to do the Arcanite Reaper. And I'm gonna do this right. I'm actually going to hit this first. So that when I run the Golem in, the knife fling from the damaged Golem isn't going to get wasted. Okay, that's good. We're going to execute this thing. And we're going to swing. So a Holy Nova would clear out everything I have. But even if it does, I would say that I'm ahead in this game. Because look, he plays Holy Nova, it's his whole turn. He's at 22 health to 18, which is about even. I drop a Fen Creeper and I'm still holding on to a weapon. So I think I'm doing totally fine here.
One shot.
Elven Archer. Well, one nice thing about this is I'm not going to use my weapon on it. It's kind of overkill here. Ah, Frostwolf Grunt, that's even better than armoring up. We'll just drop it down, and we'll pass the turn. So he's got a bit of a life advantage. We can both heal ourselves. But I have a weapon, and I've got 5 cards total to 4 cards, so he needs some really darn good cards. Well, that is the weakness of the Fen Creeper. It's large, but it dies to Shadow Word Pain. That's quite sad, and he's going to Thought Steal, so he's actually coming back on cards. I do have some good cards in here. Gorehowl, Captain Greenskin. Man, if he Thought Stole a Gorehowl, I am going to be so pissed, because he'll almost certainly win the game if that is what happened. I'm not going to be able to come back from that. Why did he do this? I don't know why he did that. Anyway, we'll play Harvest Golem. And yeah, this survives Holy Nova, so I'm just going to apply the pressure that I can. The nice thing if he did Thought Steal my Gorehowl, is the fact that he'd have to go through this first. That means I could deal 6 more damage to him, which could be important, because if he has a Gorehowl, I'm going to be racing him out. Alright, looks like what he got was my Grizzly. And that thing is maybe what he... I mean, he might have had one of these himself, but these are both in my deck, so it's somewhat likely that those are what he took. Okay, Ravenloft Assassin. Do I need to change my opinion of this card? Every time he's come up, I've been extremely happy to see it. I am actually going to just play him for sure and then think. Do I want to spend 4 damage to kill this thing, or do I want to hit for him for 4? He goes to 16 or he goes down to 12. This can take him down to 5. He's up to 14. He can go up to 7. Yeah, I think we're just going to kill this thing. I am okay with sacrificing 4 damage for that, just to keep his board clear. Whirlwind has been remarkably unimpressive, but you know what card I haven't been seeing at all? Rampage. I have not been seeing Rampage except for like 1 game where I didn't... Or where actually, where it won me 1 game where I saw it. Another game I couldn't really use it to good effect. But I haven't been seeing that card. Anyway, it looks like he didn't top deck Gorehowl. I believe he would have played it on the previous turn. Unless he's waiting... Well, no, he played 2 of my own creatures. He played 2 creatures that I have in the deck, so it's possible that one of them was his. But I don't think he actually top decked the Gorehowl. I think if he had Thought Stolen the Gorehowl, he would have wanted to... He might not have played it because of this Taunter, but it seems likely that he just didn't get it. Okay, well anyway, this is actually looking better and better and better. Raging Worgen is nice. The question is, do I reveal my Ravenhold Assassin? Obviously, mind control would be the fear there. Whirlwind, and then the Worgen will actually be able to kill it, so I'm fine with that. We're going to go ahead and kill this Ooze with my Taunter. Keep the Golem healthy, and we're going to swing for 12. This game is not over yet, but if he doesn't interfere right now, it will be. Actually, let's say he does mind control. He'll go up to 14 health. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that's his own. Well, he's now played 3 cards that are also in my deck, so at least one of them was not Thought Stolen. Anyway, I win now, I'm pretty sure. This is 10. This is just 12 damage. I don't even need to do any fancy Whirlwind shenanigans. I am counting, right? Yeah, that's 12 damage. Anyway, even if he had healed himself, I could have won either through the Dark Iron Dwarf or through the Whirlwind, enraging my Worgen. So notice how it didn't matter here because I won anyway, but the Whirlwind having an interaction with the Worgen, you know, it's 2 cards out of 30. It doesn't seem that likely that it would come up, but it could have made a difference there in that game if he had offered more resistance. Okay, well, that was a good game. I consider myself successful in this arena, with apologies, as I know not all of my viewers agree. I think for most people, they still consider 6 a failure, but I am going to consider 6s successes from now on, not only for my, like, mental sanity's sake, but also because I think it's just getting really, really hard to do well in the arena, and so if I continue treating 6 as failure, I think I'm just selling myself short. I think it's extremely difficult to get up to 6. Okay, we're up against another warrior, Catan. Aha, like Settlers of Catan, only with a K. Yeah, the last warrior had better cards than I did, and that's probably why I lost. This warrior, we'll see. So definitely these need to get mulligan. The question is, do I keep the Dark Iron Dwarf? It's so good with the Harvest Golem. I'm going to risk it. There's a risk, of course, that I don't draw any early game plays, and I regret it. Which, yep, I regret now not mulliganing more, but I think it's just so good to put Dark Iron Dwarf on a Harvest Golem. You hit for 4 damage, the Golem comes back. It's just so good. But anyway, I took a measured gamble, and, well, it didn't pay off immediately, but the Fiery War Axe, of course, is nice to see. We'll see if he actually plays creatures or if he has his own Fiery War Axe planned. He's going to armor up, fair enough. And let's see what we draw. Grizzly. Okay, I'm going to hold on to this Fiery War Axe, and first we're going to play... So the Harvest Golem, if he plays a 3-3, the Harvest Golem looks stupid, but then I can Fiery War Axe and kill it. If I play the Grizzly, it's kind of silly. I'm going to go ahead and do the Harvest Golem. So the plan is, if he plays a 3 toughness creature, I could just use the War Axe to kill it. If he plays like a Frothing Berserker, I'll use the Golem and the War Axe to kill it. I won't mind the 2-for-1. And if he plays nothing, or a Fiery War Axe or something. I'll just play a bear. Okay, so this, yep, I'll just play a Fiery War Axe, no problem. No problem. We have our Whirlwind Execute combo here. Probably not as good as Slam Execute most of the time, but it's, you know, it's better than nothing if your opponent drops a really scary threat. So I say that I won the opening, but of course because he didn't really play anything impressive and wasted a Shattered Stone Cleric, that implies that he has good late game stuff. Oh my god. Well, you know what? This is about as unimpressive as an Arathi Weaponsmith ever gets. Like, I've had games where I think I would just say that I lost straight up just because my opponent had a turn 4 Arathi Weaponsmith. But in this particular case, it wasn't that impressive. So we're going to go ahead and kill that thing, obviously. And think. If I play the Dark Iron Dwarf, I'm putting more power on the board, I'm dealing more damage to him, I'm 4 right away immediately, plus an extra 2 right now, plus an extra 2 when he kills us off with the Axe next turn. Alternatively, I could play the Taunt. The Axe can't kill the Taunter, and that lets the Golem survive, and it also keeps my Surprise in my back pocket, so I think I just convinced myself to play the Bear. Alright, I would say that I am continuing to be ahead, but, you know, again, he can come back at any time. I've got good plays, though. Unlike in my last couple of games, I have very good follow-ups going into the mid-game here. Ah, I see. So that's decent, but because the Golem comes back... Oh, does he have a Whirlwind? He does. I see. So he actually gets to keep this Axe here. Ah, he killed everything. I was really hoping he wouldn't kill everything. But he did. So I'm sad now. Oh, this sucks. I don't want to play an Arcanite Reaper onto an empty board. I don't want to play a Dark Iron Dwarf onto an empty board, but I will play a Golem. Not the most impressive thing. I would have much rather, like, dropped a Fen Creeper there, but... Well, I've got this, and I can basically, if he plays one big thing, which is not unlikely considering how slow his start was, I can freeze it, put a 5 on the board, get further ahead. And then if he has an Arcanite Reaper for this, that will be sad. But if he, oh, interesting. Let's see if I still want to do that or not. Wow, with Captain Greenskin behind me here. Let's just do this right now. So I kill it. The Golem survives. He has a life advantage against me here. But I have Captain frickin' Greenskin. Get a lot of mileage out of this weapon. Granted, if I hit things that are too big, I mean, I'm getting down to 18. Now, he doesn't really have the board advantage to make me really that afraid of him burning me out, especially because I can always freeze him if I need to. Are you kidding me? What is up with this? Okay, that's great. So freezing it's pointless because it's got taunt. I can't go by it anyway. I could run my Golem into it and then execute, but the problem is the Golem that spawns will then die off, so I'd be kind of wasting my Golem. I could use my weapon, but then Captain Greenskin loses value. I could play Captain Greenskin, but then Captain Greenskin will get damaged when I hit this thing. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a Dark Iron Dwarf. I'm going to cash out on the Dark Iron Dwarf here. We'll use the Golem to finish this off. Yes, the damaged Golem will die, which is sad. Oh, what? It comes up first? The second? How do you know? Death Rattle and Death Rattle. So his Death Rattle triggered first. How would you know that? I don't know how you would know that. But anyway, I'm going to play this. I'm safe from a Whirlwind. 2 of the 3 will die to a Cleave. This will die to an Execute. I mean, I'm vulnerable to some things, and his life total's too high for me to really consider burning him out. With Captain Greenskin, this is 12 damage here. But if he starts hitting things with Fiery War Axe... Flesh-Eating Ghoul, very, very good play. He might actually get down to the point where he will suffer. Okay, so I can hit him down to 15? That's... Okay, so he's armoring up, of course, he's a warrior. Fen Creeper. I think I'm going to play this Fen Creeper here. Let's see, I could actually freeze the Ghoul. Then the War Axe can kill something, but I don't care if he kills something with the War Axe. I could go for the gold completely and just play the Fen Creeper and try to stop him from using the Ghoul and the War Axe. I mean, he could use them together, but then that's a really great outcome for me. Alright, we're going to do this. We'll let the Fen Creeper live. The reason is I'm holding on for Captain Greenskin. We're gonna swing, and the intention here is to actually try to burn him out, because he didn't really have any removal for this stuff last turn with 6 mana. So it seems somewhat likelier than usual that these 2 can actually survive. And if that is the case, then I'm going to get to hit him for another 6. He'll go down to 11, up to 13, and then Captain Greenskin's getting him very, very close to death. So let's see what he's got. If he has an answer for this taunt. Notice how good it is, by the way. Oh, Brawl. Jesus. Wow, that sucks. If the Flesh-Eating Ghoul wins this Brawl, I might just lose the game. It won the Brawl. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. Well, that might be the game right there. I mean, I really just needed the only thing that I needed to have happen is for the Flesh-Eating Ghoul to not win the brawl, and it won the brawl. Shit. Wow. This is how my arena is gonna end, I think. Oh man, what a 25%. This is what I'm talking about, though. This is why I didn't like the brawl. It was a 25% chance that he would actually get a good outcome, and of course, he got a good outcome. So we're gonna have to do the best we can. We're gonna whirlwind. We're gonna execute. And I don't particularly want him hitting me with this axe, so in lieu of freezing him with the frost elemental, we're gonna do this. We're gonna armor up, and we're going to pass the turn. God damn it, that is the most obnoxious way to go out at 6 wins in the arena that I think I've ever. No, the most obnoxious was a mage top taking a fireball, but winning a 25% chance brawl. I'm pretty sure I would have won the game with Captain Greenskin on this weapon and having one of my creatures survive. It would have been mostly a done deal. I mean, I can still win. Card-wise, I'm doing all right. It's just my life total is precarious. So if he has 2 more good cards, I will be okay. Gonna break the weapon so he can kill off my Fen Creeper. Hopefully this guy has to die to finish the Fen Creeper off, unless he has... Oh my god. Are you kidding me? Do you actually have more? He has a fucking whirlwind. Oh my lord. Shit. So here's the problem. I'm at 5 health. Arcanary Blow does 5 damage. So, the only way that I can possibly win this game, I think, the only way that I can possibly win it, I mean, I have to go for my only outs here. I mean, I'm sure he'll top deck the answer, just given how this game has been going. But the only way that I can possibly win it here, I think, is if I... See, if I need to kill this, I'm pretty sure. I could freeze it. So I can play the panda, and I could freeze this thing, but then I don't have enough mana to armor up. In fact, I can't play any 2 of these and armor up. Now, I could attack this, I could freeze him, and then I could, like, play the panda and freeze him again next turn. That seems wrong. I could actually, what I really want to do is try to panda Captain Greenskin a bunch of times. But if I let him, if I don't freeze either one of them, this is 8 damage, so armoring up won't save me. So I have to freeze one of them, otherwise I lose. That seems to be a fact. So okay, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna freeze him to stop him from attacking. Going to attack here. I'm going to armor up, and I'm gonna. Oh, I don't have enough mana. Right. Oh, I'm being very silly here. And I'm gonna just end the turn there. So we'll see how good his card is. Immortal Strike would win him the game. So would a Core Crown Elite.
Your magic shall not.
It's sad that I had to use my weapon without using Captain Greenskin, but I just don't think there was any way around it. Okay. So what I can do here, oh, Immortal Strike, that'll be nice. I can't burn him out. What I can do here is I can kill this. Play Panda. Now, I'm not armoring up, which is sad, but I feel like this is better. Panda it back. And freeze him one more time. So, he still can't attack me. A Core Crown Elite still wins. But I feel like I'm developing a much better board presence here. God damn it! Are you kidding me? Fuck everything. Well, I still consider this arena a success, but I'm just pissed about that game. Because not only did he have the 25% chance brawl, but he also drew... I mean, he also had, in his draft, and drew the Hellscream for just enough damage to kill me. I mean, I could have armored up at the expense of, you know, developing my board that way, but, man, that's annoying. Well, this is a pretty decent payout, 90 gold. I'll take it. I'm briefly above 2,000. I will drop back down. Let's take a look at our pack. It is a normal pack. It is 40 dust, to be exact. And we'll take a look at our next arena run. So again, it's a success for me. The new Boris considers that a successful arena run. However, that last game was incredibly frustrating. So next time we'll be playing as a Paladin, Rogue, or a Druid. Probably Druid. I think that's my best chance. I've been doing the better with Druids lately than with, well, really any other class. Druid's actually the only class I've been winning with lately. It's kind of weird. So that's probably what it's going to be, but we'll see. We'll see if it's been a while since I played one of those two. I can't remember now. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed the arena, please like and or subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Till then.